In this video, I want to talk about the masks we wear in order to be loved and in order to be accepted. And I'm going to explain this again based on my personal experience. So, when we are children, we don't wear masks. We are exactly who we are. We are completely authentic. We are just this pure expression of consciousness. Now, as we are getting older, that is what we are losing, because we need to fit into a society that constantly makes us believe that we are not good enough. So one of my earliest memories when I started to wear a mask in order to fit in was when I started school. I believe when I was around 7 or 8 years old. So when I was at school, that was the first time somebody directly told me I was not good enough based on the grades I got. They told me, you're not good enough to go to this school because you're not good at maths. Every other student is really, really good at that subject. You're not. And this is why you're not good enough to go to that school. Now, all of my friends, they were actually referred to that school because they were good enough based on what my teachers told me. So I remember my best friend at that school. She had really good grades. So she got praise from the teachers. Everybody told her how amazing she is, how well she is doing. So I started to compare myself to her, and I wanted to be more like her. And that is when I took on a new identity. That was the first time in my life where I felt like the way I am is not good enough. I need to look at other people and become more like them. That is when I got the program. Now remember, I was 7 or 8 years old. So what I tried to do was not study harder or try to understand math because I already had that program. I'm too stupid. I won't get it anyway. So instead, I tried to copy my friend in absolutely anything she did. When she learned how to ride a unicycle, I had to learn how to ride a unicycle. When she got new furniture, I needed new furniture, and I needed exactly the same set of furniture she got. When she got a new toy, I needed that toy. So you see how this went. Same clothes, same jewelry, all of that stuff. Because in a way, I lost my true self. I lost who I am because the world around me, my environment told me I'm not good enough the way I am. And that is what is happening to a lot of people. So all throughout my life, because I had that programmed, you're not good enough the way you are, I tried to fit in. I wore masks all the time. And that carried on all throughout my school life. When I eventually went to a different school, I found a new group of people who I wanted to belong to. So I started to dress like them. I started to look like them, talk like them. I started to integrate into what I believed would make me good enough. And we see that in so many people who are trying to fit in, who are trying to become somebody else because they believe they're not good enough the way they are. And that might also be something you have experienced in your life. That is also why people look up to celebrities, because they show them, look at me, I'm famous, I'm successful, everybody loves me, I'm beautiful. And when you believe you are lacking all of these things, you will try to become more like that celebrity because they are embodying what you believe you are lacking. But it all starts with this one big lie that you are not good enough the way you are. It has never been true. It's a complete lie. Imagine if we grew up in a world where people are not constantly programming you into believing you're not good enough. Can you imagine how a child would unfold in this beautiful world believing they are good enough? Imagine what they would grow up to achieve. But this is what we're doing instead. We are putting children into a system where they get all of these negative programs, patterns, and loops, following them all throughout their adulthood, following them all throughout their lives, making life hell for them. And this is why so many people are actually suffering. It's the environment we grew up in. It's a society we grew up in. It's the programs, patterns, and loops we get passed on by teachers, families, strangers, by every single person around us. So what we are really all doing is we are wearing masks in order to be loved, in order to be accepted. We can't even speak our truth anymore because we know we will get judged by other people. There's hardly any compassion or empathy in this world anymore. And that is what has to change. But it starts by us recognizing that we are not our programs. We need to recognize why we are doing what we're doing. I had to sit myself down and ask myself, honestly, why do you always feel the need to look like somebody else? Why do you always feel the need to buy what this influencer is promoting? Why do you feel you're not good enough the way you are? Why do you always want what other people have? And it was really simple. It all came back to that one program, because I believed I wasn't good enough the way I am. So I tried to find compensation on the outside. So if this is where you're at in your life right now as well, ask yourself, why are you doing it? You have to look through this illusion you are creating. You have always been good enough. And now that you know you are good enough, what is that going to change in your life? Like, how are you going to change? Are you going to look at situations differently? Will you finally stop comparing yourself to other people? Will you finally stop with that constant negative self-talk? Because you're not your mind either. It's simply a neutral computer. You've been programmed to think a certain way, to live a certain way. But you can change, and you're the only person who can change yourself. So now I'm actually looking back into the past with gratitude. Yes, sure, when I was a child, I was suffering. All throughout my school years, I was suffering. But now I can actually see how programming works, how we are getting programmed, how this is happening to literally every single person living on this planet. And something has to change. But we can only change when we are recognizing what is actually happening, when we can honestly self-reflect and ask ourselves why we are doing it. Why are we contributing to the world being the way it is? And it all starts by cultivating a loving and kind relationship with yourself, telling yourself every single day that you are good enough. You have always been good enough. You are worthy. You are loved. The version of yourself you have always been before your ego got programmed to think a certain way, to live a certain way, to behave a certain way. That is not you. That is a learned program. And it's time to deprogram or reprogram so you can find back to your true self. And that is all I have for today's video. I really hope you found it helpful. And the key message of this being, you are good enough. You have always been good enough. So what are you doing with this information now? How are you going to change your life knowing you are good enough? What will you do? Now you know you're good enough. So what is your next step going to be? When you're going into the office tomorrow, how will you step into the room? How will you step into the building? With confidence because now you know you're good enough? How will you apply for a promotion? Believing that you will get it because you're good enough, because you have value or worth? Or will you think, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I won't get that promotion. Maybe I shouldn't even apply because there are other people who are so much better than me. Will you stay in a toxic relationship that is not good for you, but you believe you're not worthy of love, or you're not worthy to get out of it, you're not worthy of deserving more? Or will you finally leave knowing you deserve more, knowing that you have always been good enough to experience a beautiful and harmonious relationship? These are the questions you now have to ask yourself.